Let's begin this session, Kavya. Thank you so much for being here for us today to do a session. Thank you so much. It means a lot, and I'm very happy to welcome all the participants and also the resource person of the day, Ms. Kavya Kritika. On behalf of the Department of Psychology, American University Madurai, and Mental Health Webinar Series, 14 members, and also all the association institutes, including the Madras School of Social Work, International Center for Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy, Germany, MS Chanamuthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation, Madurai, Red Pond Educational and Psychological in Madurai, and Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey. On behalf of all of us, I'm welcoming all the participants and also Kavya today for the session. Before we begin the session, I would be really happy to welcome Kavya, introduce Kavya. Kavya is a very talented resource person, I would say. She's a very talented girl and she's a counseling psychologist and she's also working as an assistant professor in a college. And she's a choreographer and she has lots and lots of other things to add to her profile. She did UG and PG with me, which I'm really happy to mention here at Madras Work and WCC. She has been a wonderful student in both the colleges, and teachers really liked her. And the way we were all proud of her because she always did something and come back to us. So we are very happy to have her, and she has lots of uh, certificate programs she has attended, and she also has served as an internship and training programs at burn survivors and domestic violence victims at PCBC and Mitra and Simon Hospital. And she also is working as a consultant psychologist at MR Hospital, New Hope Hospital, and she is also choreographing a lots of kids in lots of schools, which and she's also a model. So not to thing, but yeah, thank you so much, Kavya. Thank you so much for being here. I would be really happy to attend your session. Though we can't meet in person, I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to do a wonderful job. Your students are always here to support you because they joined because of who you are. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. The session is over to you. Just go ahead. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay. So first of all, that was a lovely introduction given by Miss Ananya, my dear friend. So thank you so much, Ananya, for having me here on today's webinar on the topic emotional intelligence. And of course, dear participants, thank you all so much for being a part today. And I hope you all are safe and sound during amidst the COVID situation and in our cyclone situation. So I hope you all are doing great. So anyways, it's time to start today's webinar. So before we get into emotional intelligence, I would like to conduct a small, lovely activity, art-based activity. So I hope you all are ready for it. But before I begin with my session, I want
Kavya, can you be a little louder? I'm sorry for interrupting.
yeah,
Can you
sure,
be a
sure,
little
sure, sure,
louder?
no problem.
Thank you.
Definitely. So I request all the participants to be more interactive during my session because I just don't want this to be, a one-on-one. I want every one of you to take part and, be more attentive and, just connect with me during this webinar. I'm very sure you will learn something good from my webinar. Okay, fine. So I hope you all are here, staying connected with me. So I request all the participants to to turn your videos on first. Yeah. Can you all turn your videos on? I would like to see all your lovely faces. Please turn your videos on. And I request all the participants to take your A4 size sheet. If you don't have a sheet, how to say, a white sheet, it's completely fine. Just you can take your rough notes or notepad if you have. Okay, fine. So I'm going to give you a few instructions. So what is this art-based activity is going to be on? I'll be playing beautiful music behind, in the background, and I want you all to start paying attention to the music and start venting out your emotions through art. Okay, so you can sketch, you can draw whatever you want. It can be a portrait of you, or it can be a scenery, it can be a bird, it can be a butterfly, or it can be anything, right? I don't want to fix, or there's no restrictions for it, and you don't have to be an artist to take part in this activity. I request every participant to kindly listen to the beats, stay, just connect yourself to the music and start drawing. Okay, so shall we begin? Yes? Fine. I hope you all are listening to me. And there are so many crackers bursting in my area because today is Deepam festival, right? So, yes, fine. I hope you all are ready, and I hope all the materials that is required for doing this activity is there right on the table, I guess. So I'm going to play the music, and I want you all to stay connected, okay? And start drawing whatever you feel like drawing, okay? Yes. Please turn your videos on because I want to see what you're doing. You can draw whatever you want. There's no restriction. Whatever you feel like when you're listening to this music, you can just emote that. Please take your paper out and start drawing. Listen to the music and then start drawing. Can you all turn your videos on, Chandra, Satya? Because I'll be asking you all to talk about your artwork. So, can you all turn your videos on? Purva, Padma, Devika.
Is my video on?
No, ma'am. Okay. You can sketch whatever you want. There's no restrictions to it. Sunita, Sendil Kumar, Shiva Kumar. Can you all kindly turn your videos on? And I'm very sure that you will learn something from this session. So please don't hesitate to draw. Okay, so you have 1 more minute left. I want all the participants to stay active. Please stay connected with the music. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the activity. Fine. So I want few volunteers to unmute yourself, and I want you all to explain what you have drawn in your paper. So who would like to go first? Anyone. It can be anyone. Chandra.
This is Chandra here. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
My video as well.
Yes, yes, I can see it.
Can you see the picture now?
Wow, it's very beautiful. There's a sun and there's a flower, and yeah, there is a music symbol on it. Can you explain that, ma'am? Can you explain how you felt while you're drawing this?
Actually, when it started, I felt like it's a morning time. Okay? I felt the breeze and all the things that comes up first in the day. And so it was the sun and some birds flying in the sky. So I could also feel the dew on the grass and the bloom of the flowers. And when after some time, I felt like all the musical instrument and it's being played in a concert or something like that.
Okay.
It's more musical and very soothing and relaxing. I was into it actually.
Yes, I can see that.
So it was like a wavy thing that comes up in the mind. It's just like the symbol you have for the flashback thing. It's just going on and
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
How did you feel when when it comes to emotion part? How did you feel when you're seeing your picture now?
I felt very anxious and happy.
Okay, anxious and happy. That's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chandra ma'am. Thanks a lot for explaining
music,
your
Kavya.
artwork. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else would like to volunteer?
Yeah.
I would like to show, madam.
Yes, who's that?
Should I start?
Yes, please go ahead, sir. What's your name? And
Can you see
please show me. Yeah.
Can you see this?
1 minute. I'm just searching you. What is your name, sir? What is your name?
My name is Amrut Muzumdar from
Okay.
Chhattisgarh.
Okay. Can you show me your picture again towards the camera?
It is there in front of camera.
Oh, okay. I think I'm not able to see it.
Just
Fine, then
just
you
a
can
minute.
start. Yes. Yeah. You can start
Can you see
explaining your artwork.
Can you see this?
Yes, you can start explaining the artwork, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
I had
Sir, it's
drawn
because of the network issue, your video is not seen. Yeah, you can go ahead and explain the video.
Okay.
So I had drawn a picture of a person. He is happy.
Okay.
That's it. I had drawn this with the red ink, red pen, and I put on his shirt with the some green pen.
Okay.
But the person is happy. Probably I am in a great mood today. That's the reason I could draw this picture. Otherwise, I don't remember. I don't remember last time when I had done this.
Okay, so it's exactly your projection of how you're feeling right now at the present, right? You're feeling happy and content, and that's what you have drawn in the paper. Good. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining that. Thanks a lot. Okay, so before I start the session, is there anyone who would like to share? One last volunteer? Anyone? Anyone would like to share your artwork? How you felt when you drew that picture in your paper? Anyone?
Satya here.
Yes, ma'am.
Hope you can.
I
It's like I
can
just
hear
drew.
your voice, but I think you need to. Is your video on, ma'am? Or so? Is your video on?
Oh. Can you
Okay,
see
it's okay. No
mine?
problem. No problem.
It's a kite.
I think
So
it's okay.
So I stay in Jaipur. So
Mm-hmm.
it's only in my house.
Uh-huh. I can see the kite. Okay.
That
Mhm. Your voice is break. I think it's because of the network issue, I guess. But then that's an amazing picture that you have drawn. Uh, yeah. So I can see it. Yes. It's a good one, Satya ma'am. But then unfortunately your voice is not that audible. It's breaking. I think it's because of the internet issue. That's fine. That's fine. And thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. Okay. So thank you all participants. So the ultimate aim for this, for me to conduct this activity is because I personally believe that art is one of the most amazing platform to, to vent out our emotions and thoughts and feelings, right? So that is why I wanted all of you to stay connected through art. Fine. So we can start with the webinar. So sir, you can change the slide. Yes, I hope you all are staying. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, fine. So I hope you all can see the slide. So before we get into a topic, emotional intelligence, I think we all need to understand what is emotions, right? So as a human being, I guess most of us, I mean almost everyone, we all are driven or maybe influenced by various kinds of emotions in our life. And I personally, as a psychologist, and I personally feel that we make decisions based on our emotions, right? I would say that emotions can be of two types, positives and negative emotions. So we will talk about that later. So when we take emotions into account, I guess, all the participants, you can mute yourself. Yeah, so if I'm asking any question, that time you can unmute and answer me. Now you all can mute yourself. Okay, perfect. Fine. So emotions are nothing but a complex psychological state, or maybe I can put in a very simpler term where it is nothing but intense feeling that we all have towards a person or an object, right? So like I said earlier, there are two kinds of emotions, positive emotions and negative emotions. And as a human being, it's not just that only humans do have or possess emotions, even animals do have emotions. And I hope people who love dogs and loves cat, I think they would have seen how they emote their emotions. Fine. So there was been a lot of studies that has been going on in and around India, I mean everywhere, all around the world. And initial stages, people thought that it was just 5 to 7 basic emotions, like say for example, joy, anger, fear, disgust, anticipation, something like that. But later on, the research that was conducted in the year 2017, they have found out there are 27 categories of emotions. So, and emotions are often we are able to identify them or recognize them through a person's facial expression, the way the person talks with someone else, the way they behave, the way they emote, or the way they express their emotion, also by their tone of voices. Fine. So yes. So next slide, sir. Let's get into the components of emotions. Fine. So if you look into the slide, I have mentioned a few basic things about emotions. So when a person is experiencing, or when a person is put in a situation, when he or she is confronting a situation, we all have these 5 components embedded together to form a subjective experiences. So maybe I can call it subjective because each one of us are different and unique by nature, right? So we all carry or carry different kinds of emotions, and how we interpret certain things varies from one person to another person, right? So we have this subjective experience, we have cognitive process, we have our expressive behavior, we have physiological changes, and our instrumental behavior. So say for example, I'm just going to give a very nice cheesy example. Let's say you are meeting, or you're seeing your love of your life, or maybe you're seeing your crush after a very long time, or maybe after so many years. Let's say they are walking right in front of you, and you're seeing them after a very long time. So now let's relate all these 5 components and how they actually influence our emotions. So a subjective experience will be how we as an individual uh, experience or feel during that particular stage. Let's say, like I said, if you're seeing your love of your life, or if you're seeing your crush walking towards you, your subjective experience will, maybe some people will be happy, or some people will be in fear because they're seeing them after a longer time. So that can be one thing. Your cognitive processes are nothing but how you think, how you interpret certain things, and how you it's nothing but your thought processes. Cognitive processes are nothing but how you think and interpret in a particular situation. Your expressive behaviors are nothing but the way you express your emotions in that particular situation. Maybe you will maintain eye contact, or maybe you will not maintain eye contact. So all these things comes under the way you express your emotions. Next is your physiological changes or arousals. Physiological arousals are nothing but what we feel within ourselves. Like, even in movies and even in so many scenarios, we would have personally experienced that, right? In Tamil, they used to say, like, vayithula fulla butterfly parakudunu solluvaanga, that kind of experience where you feel that, when someone who you love, or when your crush is like standing right in front of you, and, immediately you have all these butterflies, a feeling. It's not exact butterfly, going around inside your stomach. I'm just saying, So all these things can be your physiological changes. And of course, your instrumental behaviors are nothing but how you behave in that particular situation. What will be your action? How do you, whether you go and talk to the person, or whether you, flight, it's nothing but flight or flight responses, right? So all these things are the 5 components that are attached to our emotions. Fine. Okay. So next slide, sir. Yes. So have you all heard about emotional intelligence? What is emotional intelligence? What is EI or EQ?
To respond to a situation, like how you feel yourself and make well, keeping yourself happy and keeping others surrounded people happy,
Okay.
and reacting balanced reaction to the situation.
Okay. Fair enough. Any other
It is
responses?
how you deal with all, and how you feel about yourself. That is emotional intelligence.
Hmm. Yes.
How comfortably you get along with everyone surrounding you, and how you deal with yourself.
Perfect. Very good. Anything else? Any points that you would like to add?
Hello,
Okay. Yes,
madam.
yes, sir.
expressing emotional
Yes.
in positive way.
Okay.
Expressing the
enough.
emotion in positive way.
Okay. Good. Good, sir. வேற யாராவது சொல்ல ட்ரை பண்றீங்களா? Anyone would like to share? See, you can be comfortable in any language. There is no restriction that you're only supposed to talk in English, no Tamil, nothing like that. Whichever language you're comfortable. But I know only Tamil and English, so just make sure you respond in either of these two languages. Fine. So let's get into the emotional intelligence. So 3 of you have told certain aspects about emotional intelligence. You guys were fair enough. So yes. So before we, so next slide, please. So before we get into emotional intelligence, I thought I could give you a very brief history about emotional intelligence. Fine. So there was this two-person, Peter Salovay and John Mayer, in the year 1980s. It was them who started off, initiating, doing a lot of psychological theories and research works under the topic emotional intelligence. After which it was Daniel Goleman, my favorite person. He was in the year 1995. He published a book called, let me show you. I think I have the picture in the end of the slide, but this is the book. If you all can see it, it's called Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. I will show this book at the end of the slides. At the end of the presentation. So after his work got published and after he released this book, emotional intelligence topic got super famous, and everyone all around the world, people started focusing on its importance and how it actually have positive impact on our physical health, on our mental health, on our performance at work, and also on our relationship with others and our social skills and stuff. So yes, so I think that is fair enough to know about a brief history on emotional intelligence. So we will see the definition. So next slide, sir. Fine. Emotional intelligence, or it is also called as emotional quotient, EQ, EI or EQ. Fine. So emotional intelligence is nothing but the ability to understand, use, manage your own emotions in a most positive way. Or maybe I can put it in a very simpler term. Emotional intelligence is nothing but how you manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of other people, right? So, when we talk about EQ or emotional intelligence, we have 5 important skills or 5 important components that are connected with emotional intelligence. So for a person who is having a higher EQ, then he or she will be having all these 5 basic skills. So which will be there in the next slide. So next slide, please. Yes, so we have these 5 skills. One is self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, internal motivation, and your social skills. Okay, so we will see them one by one. Self-awareness. So by the term itself, it's very clear that you are aware of your own self, your inner self. You know why you behave in one particular way. You know why you are being super anxious. You know why you're being super happy when you meet your friends, or you know why you're being so sad and isolated when you're confronting a negative situation. So self-awareness is an ability that makes you or makes an individual to understand your own inner feelings, like why you behave or why you feel in a particular way. So self-awareness also enables you to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. So once when you understand your strengths, of course you'll enhance them, but when you start more on your negative or your flaws, you'll start accepting who you are, you'll start accepting, or maybe you will have this recognition of your areas of improvement, right? So self-awareness is kind of, it's very important aspect when it comes to emotional intelligence. Fine. So next slide, please. Okay, self-regulation. Okay. So self-regulation is again ability to monitor your own emotions and thoughts and your feelings and the way you behave according to your emotions, right? So self-regulation, again, one of the important factor where you control or redirect disruptive emotional impulses and mood. So for a person who's not having a good level of self-regulation, they will be super reactive. Let's say, for example, there is a person called for an interview and he's getting rejected, and for a person who's having a lesser EQ, he or she will be super reactive. They might even start talking bad about the institution, or they might even they will not behave appropriately in a situation. So like what I'm trying to say is that they cannot handle the situation. Instead of being proactive, they become super reactive. Reactive is something where you go, you lose control of yourself and you get hyper, you shout at the boss, you shout at the HR person who tried to recruit you and who tried to reject you because he or she might feel that you're not fit for the job. So a person with a very how to say, emotionally unstable person, they will have a very weaker self-regulation. So it's always important to focus on your self-regulation, where it's nothing but you're addressing your flaws and accepting for who you are. Fine. So next slide, please. Next is internal motivation. Yes. So before, I just want to check, am I audible to everyone? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
fine. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Next is internal motivation. Again, very important factor. We all know what is motivation, right? Motivation is nothing but the inner drive or the inner urge that pushes us to do or act in a particular way. That is called. This is called as an motivation. So when we are driven by our internal forces to achieve a particular goal in our life, let's say you wanted to buy a car, or let's say you wanted to pursue a particular career, or let's say you wanted to go for a trip or go for a trekking, whatever it is, whatever you do, things for your own happiness is driven by internal motivations. For a person who has a higher level of EQ or higher level of emotional intelligence, they have a good internal motivation. So you can see the slide. Internal motivation is about working with and for your, you work for yourself. You work for an inner vision of what is important. So you feel that you have been rewarded internally. So you intrinsically work towards your particular goal. Okay, next slide, please. So next slide. Next is empathy. Yeah, one of my favorite skills. So of course, I know I'm very sure everyone would be knowing this. Empathy is nothing but putting yourself in another person's shoe and understanding why a person is behaving in a particular way. So in present generation, in present scenarios, most of us are having failed relationship. Most of us are not able to understand or maintain a healthy, positive relationship. Instead, we are getting into toxic relationship. Or maybe we are being the toxic person. Hello. Sorry, can you all mute yourself, possible? Thank you. Fine. So empathy is one of the most important factor in order to maintain a healthy relationship with the outside, with the person. I mean, with the friends, family members, your spouse, your beloved ones. And even if you're working in a workplace, if you're working, and that I think even empathy gets to apply there, right? This relates to the ability to understand the emotional makeup of others and the skills to treat people according to their emotional reactions, right? So often we are judging people super, like when someone is or when someone is isolating themselves, when someone is not able to convey their emotions, or when someone is not friendly with you, we immediately judge them. I'm just giving an example, right? I'm not going to fix things. I'm just giving an example. So we immediately judge people thinking that they are bad, they're emotionally weak, they are not okay. Maybe they're having some mental illness and all these things. We brand people, we tag people, we tell them, we tend to interpret that they are in a one particular corner. So it's always good not to judge people. It's better to understand why a person is rejecting you, or why a person is kind of isolating themselves, or why a person is behaving super pissed on your workplace, or why your boss is behaving in a one particular way. So it's always, when you start being more empathetic, you'll be able to maintain a healthy relationship. Okay, fine. The last skills is social skills. So can you change the slide? Okay. Social skills are nothing but the ability to maintain a good rapport, a good, healthy coherence or connectedness with the other person, right? So social skills on the whole, the one important factor would be communication, interpersonal skills. So the way you communicate with others. So often, many people are not good communicators. See, it doesn't mean that you are weak, or doesn't mean that you can never be a sociable person. You see, so everything starts with practice. Okay, so EQ is something that can be developed over a period of time, right? So you all can develop social skills, and I'm very sure communication is the ultimate, a strategy to maintain and manage a proper network and relationship with others. Fine. Next slide, please. Okay. So why is emotional intelligence so important, right? So we have heard IQ. நிறைய பேர் வந்து IQ பத்தி கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க. IQ is intelligent quotient, and many people would have heard, maybe it's the first time you're hearing emotional intelligence, or many people would have already heard about emotional intelligence, right? So often we have been told certain statements that it's not the smartest person who wins the battle, or the smartest person who is more successful, but actually it is the person who's having higher EQ wins the battle, or higher EQ who has a good, successful personal and career life. So I think a lot of research has been going on in and around, and they have finally proved that EQ matters the most in order to have a successful life. So say for example, if you're good, see, I'm not saying that you need to ignore IQ. I'm saying both the things are very important, but in order to have a successful healthy relationship or healthy career life, then you need to have a good amount of EQ, right? So if a person is having a better IQ, then he or she can have a good decision making skills, or she can acquire knowledge, and they can perform well in a particular task. But whereas when you are good in your EQ, you will be able to manage stress, you will be able to manage positive relationship with the other people, and of course you'll be having good leadership skill in your working environment, right? So EQ is very important. Fine. Next slide, please. Okay. So these are the 4 important factors that emotional intelligence has its positive effects. One is your physical health, your mental health, your performance at work, and your relationship, right? So when it comes to physical health, see, when a person is having, let's say, when a person is not having a better EQ, emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, he or she will definitely not be able to manage stress in their life. So if you're not able to manage stress, what will happen? That could lead to psychosomatic disorders. What are psychosomatic disorders? Like having migraine, having cardiac problems, having cancer, or let's say having a premature aging. It tends to affect your physical health, right? So it's always, emotions are a very complex part of human being, and we need to know how to maintain them. We need to know how to stabilize them in order to have a very positive life, right? So please do focus on that. Fine. Next is your mental health. So not just your physical, when you're having a lesser EQ, it will affect your physical health. It's not just that. It will also have a toll on your mental health. So let's say if you're a person who is having a lesser EQ, and if you're not able to channelize or navigate your emotions, let's say you're stuck, you lose control, and you're not able to handle that particular negative scenario that's happening around your life, what will happen? You'll feel depressed, you'll feel more anxious. That could lead to other mental illnesses, and of course over a point of time you will feel that you're losing control over your life. and that will eventually will make you feel more dejected, that will eventually make you feel more isolated, and you will have problems with relationships, you'll have problems with daily functioning of your life, so your mental health will be affected, right? So again, so in order to have a proper mental health, you need to have a good EQ. Next is performance at work. Performance at work is, of course, nothing but if a person, it's very simple, guys. I don't want to make it more complicated, right? For a person who's having a better EQ, he or she will have a good leadership skills. They know how to behave in a working environment. They know how to conduct themselves. They know how to be more positive, how to be more approachable. They will have good communication skills. They will have good leadership skills. And of course, good decision making skills, right? So these are the positive impacts that, EQ will have in your performance at work. And last is relationship, right? So many people are losing balance in our relationships, right? We are failing to understand our spouse reactions, our spouse emotions, or let's say if you're in a relationship, there are so many breakups, there are so many failed relationships. People are, or maybe they are ending up falling in a toxic relationship, or either they are being the toxic person and affecting the other person, right? There are so many things that are actually sabotaging your own how to say control over your relationship. So for a person who's having a lesser EQ, they have they'll have difficult time in maintaining a relationship. They don't know how to maintain, so they often have how to say, maybe I can give an example. Maybe they'll have very low self-esteem. They'll be emotionally unstable. They frequently get into arguments, and they have this projections as a defense mechanism, where they always when someone is criticizing them, they take it within them, and then they start feeling more rejected and lost in their life. So they ultimately they don't know how to maintain a relationship. So which is why there are more and more failed relationships, right? It's because your EQ is very low, or maybe you need to work on your EQ, right? Fine. So next slide. We're going to get into a small activity, a very interesting one. It's called as temperament analysis. Okay, temperament are nothing but your nature, your personality trait. நீங்க உங்களை எப்படி பாக்குறீங்க, மத்தவங்க உங்களை எப்படி பாக்குறாங்க, that is all is called about, that is all is about temperament. Okay, so I want you all to take a paper. Maybe you can use the same sheet. Okay, so are you all listening to me? Yes, fine. I want you all to take your paper, your pen, and so next slide, please. Yeah, I want you all to write down 3 adjectives about your temperament. Okay, I'll give an example. 3 adjectives are nothing but you can write down as I am a happy person, I am a very cheerful person, I'm a very shy person, or I'm being very paranoid, I'm always suspecting things, or it can be anything, right? So please feel free and please be honest with your paper. So write down 3 temperaments 3 adjectives that describes you the best. Okay, that is one thing. And second thing is, again, you need to write down 3 adjectives that other person or others use to describe your temperament. மத்தவங்க உங்களை எப்படி பார்க்கறாங்க, how others view you and how others describe you or describe your personality. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and later on we will be discussing about it. So I'll explain it again. You need to write down 3 temperaments, adjectives of your temperament. I've given an example like being happy, being more cheerful, excited. It's nothing but your personality trait, guys. Like, what is your personality trait? What is your nature? How you usually behave in a situation? Who you are? Write that down. And also how others describe your temperament. Okay, so once you finish this activity, I have 2 more questions. You need to maybe now itself I can show that. Sir, can you change the slide? Next slide, please. Yeah, so after you finish writing them down, you need to so you need to write down how does each of the temperamental factors affect you on a personal level. So let's say if you, Sir Nandini, can you self, please? Yeah, thank you so much. Fine. I also want you all to write down how does each of the temperamental factors that you have written affect you on a personal level. See, if it is a good thing, it's fine. If you have found out that you have some negative flaws or things that you need to work on, write them down. Why do you think it affects you on a personal level? And last is, which of these factors do you want to change and why? Why do you want to change it and why? Okay. So can we all begin? I'm going to give you like 3 minutes for this. Okay. So you can start writing it down. Your personality traits and how people describe you, how that personality trait tends to affect you on a personal level. And if you like to change, why you want to change that particular trait which is existing in you. Okay. I'm just going to give an example. Let's say I'm being more paranoid. ரொம்ப சந்தேகப்படுறேன். ரொம்ப I'm being more suspicious. Like I'm suspecting things. I'm always being in a very, in that mode. So I want to change that. So just write them down. Okay. See, all these are here for you to develop yourself, to understand what you're lacking and what you need to improvise in order to function well in your life. So just be honest, and there are no right and wrong answers. Okay, fine. So you can start writing it down. Please write down your areas of improvement. Where do you want to improvise? 2 more minutes left.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes.
How do I know what people perceive about me, or what they think about me?
It's just you just have to write it down. Like if you don't feel like writing it down, it's completely fine. See, sometimes you would have heard people calling you, hey, you're a very charming person, or maybe you're a very shy person. People have called you by some describing your behavior, right? So you can have them into account and you can write them down, or if you don't have anything, it's completely fine. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so who would like to go first? Someone who has completed? Gauri, would you like to go first? Yeah.
Yes, Akash,
Yes,
sure.
please.
So
Yes.
I would describe myself as sensitive or emotional and optimistic and sincere. And I would say that others would perceive me as cheerful, compassionate, and self-confident. I would like to maybe change my sensitive and emotional side a bit because ரொம்ப எமோஷனலா இருக்கிறது தப்பு, ரொம்ப சென்சிட்டிவா இருக்கிறது தப்பு. அது நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி I have to maybe regulate myself with my emotions and try to improve my EQ a lot and work on it.
Very good. Thanks a lot for sharing. Super
Ma'am,
cool.
can you translate whatever you spoke in Tamil in English or Hindi?
Yeah. Gauri, I think you can just kutti abhi
Yes.
sollidu.
I don't mind. I don't understand Tamil.
Yeah, I totally
Oh,
understand.
I'm sorry.
Kannada, Malayalam.
Okay.
Yes, so I just told that as Kavyaka mentioned, I have to improve my emotional intelligence a bit more because I'm a very sensitive person. And although it is good to be empathetic and emotional, at times I would feel that I have to tackle my own emotions a bit more and not be reactive.
Okay. So I hope you understood. Okay. Anyone
Yes,
else
ma'am.
would like to share? Anyone else? Anyone else would like to share what you have written? Okay. Fine then. So maybe I can take it as a no. Okay. So it's completely fine, guys. So see, this.
Ma'am, I would like to share.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I am a happy and cheerful person, and people also perceive that way. But I procrastinate and leave the things task incomplete very often. This I would like to correct in myself, and I have reasonably good communication skills, so that also people appreciate.
Very good. Thanks a lot for sharing that. Okay.
I'm Paul
Fine.
John.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Please go ahead.
I'm Paul John. I'd like to share. I'm dynamic
Yes,
and active and knowledgeable. 1. Positive and creative. 2nd, analytical and critical. Okay. 3rd one.
Wow.
And generally, since I am very methodical, people try to be very careful with me while talking. 2nd one, sometimes I feel threatened. So these things I need to very sensitively change.
Thank you so much for acknowledging your emotions and thank you so much for that. Okay. Anyone else would like to share? Because I'm going to go. I'm going to change. Okay, fine. So basically this activity was conducted for you people to understand your temperamental types and your areas of improvement. Fine. So whenever it's not that you come and attend the session and then only on that particular time you do such activities. It's not like that. Whenever possible time, whenever you are confronted with a lot of negative things going on in your mind, please follow all these activities that I'm trying to engage you in, because they are very helpful in order to channelize your own emotions and thoughts. Fine. So can we go to the next slide, sir? Fine. So before we get into we are actually coming to the fag end. So before we get into the effective ways to improvise your emotional intelligence, I have 4 stages put down here in order 4 stages of learning these emotional intelligence. Okay, so we have this assessment, we have this insight, we have assessment, we have training, and then we have the application. So they're very simple. I don't want to complicate you all. It's very simple. Insight. What is insight? Insight is nothing but being aware of who you are, being aware of what you are going through and how you are behaving situation. Are you being reactive or are you being proactive? Are you behaving rationally in a situation, or are you being more irrational or having irrational thoughts and behaving in a very disruptive way? So insight is all about understanding or acknowledging or being more mindful about your environment, more than that your inner world, right? That is all about insight. Okay. Second thing is assessment. See, next assessment, yes, there are so many online EQ tools where you can go, but then I, as a psychologist, I personally will, suggest you all, if you really want to work on, if you feel that you need to work on your EQ level, then you need to understand that you have to go to a psychologist to measure and assess your EQ level. Okay, so once you do the assessment, you'll be able to understand where you are lacking. Say, for example, if you are lacking and if you got a low score in empathy, or if you got a low score in communication skills, I mean, you're maintaining social skills with others. So that will be your areas of improvement, right? So once you do the assessment, you will be able you need to work on. Fine. Next is your training part. Training part is something again where you start focusing on the particular area where you need to focus. Okay, for example, if you need to focus on your communication part under social skills, then you have to practice few techniques. You're improvising your verbal and non-verbal communication, how to maintain an interpersonal relationship with your colleagues, with your family, with your spouse, with your loved ones. So all these things will be you'll be focusing on, right? And last is application. Application is very simple. What you have learned, you start applying in your day-to-day life. So these 4 things are the basic criteria that you need in order to learn emotional intelligence. Okay, so next slide, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna with this 5 ways to develop emotional intelligence, we will be ending this particular webinar. So I want you all to like really focus on this. See, there are so many ways, okay, to focus on your emotional intelligence, but I have just pointed out 5 basic things that every individual can use or can do in order to improvise and enhance your emotional EQ. Fine. So first is identifying your negative emotions. So when we talk about negative emotions, it's all about how we identify them. Like say, for example, have you seen most people will often be, they'll always have negative thoughts. They'll always, if they are encountering a situation, if they are very stressed out, they immediately have negative thoughts saying that I'm a failure, or I cannot do this, or I cannot do that. I don't think I'll be able to come out of this situation. I think I am not fit for this. So when we start identifying what makes us more negative or what makes us more pessimistic in our life, we will be able to channelize them or reconstruct them with the positive ones, right? So first and foremost, basic thing is to understand your emotional state. Like, are you being emotionally stable or are you being emotionally unstable? What are your negative emotions and how it is affecting your day-to-day functioning, right? That will be your first and ultimate strategy to improvise or develop your emotional intelligence. Fine. Your next slide, please. Next slide, sir. Okay. Self-evaluation. Okay. What is self-evaluation? You can look at the slide and you can, look at the image and you can tell me, what is self-evaluation? Anyone would like to share? Hello. Are you all being attentive in class?
SWOT analysis, your strength, weakness, and which are the areas you have to focus on to improve.
Yeah, very good, Satya ma'am. Very good. So self-evaluations are nothing but having a checklist or having ability to observe yourself. Like ma'am said, you focus on your strengths and your weaknesses. So strengths, of course, it's there. It's something which is way good about you, well and good. But we all need to accept our flaws. See, no one is perfect in this world, including me. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect and no one can ever be perfect in this world, right? We all have our flaws and we all have our wounds and scars. And I think, that makes who we are, that makes us humans, right? So it's all about, it starts with self-evaluation. You need to know where you're standing in your life. You need to know where you need to improvise. You need to know how or what are the things that has to be done in order to push you or strive you towards your goals, right? So self-evaluation is one of the important, everything is very important. I'm going to say important because uh, if I'm going to change the slide and if I'm going to talk about the next important skill to develop, again, I will be saying it's very important because everything is important, right? So please start doing. So first is to identifying your negative emotions, and second is to self-evaluate yourself, accept your flaws, own your flaws. Please don't, see, we have this, notion that we have to be perfect and we shouldn't have any flaws or, அதெல்லாமே இல்ல. We all have flaws. Okay, so we need to cherish them. We need to embrace from them and start focusing more on the positive side of our life so that we can function well, so that we can develop our emotional intelligence. Fine. Okay, next slide, sir. So next is self-expression. Again, one of the most important thing when it comes to developing EQ. So, when I talk about self-expressions are nothing but how you communicate with your fellow human beings, right? Have you seen so many people have lack the skill of communication? Like they will not have a good verbal and non-verbal communication. They lack that. They will not be able to share their views and their thoughts and their feelings because they always remain silent, and they fail in voicing out. I think most of the people, you would have seen them, or maybe you have that one particular area where you need to focus on. So self-expression is something where only when you express what you need, you will be able to get it, right? So in Tamil, they used to say, "Tattungal thirakkapadum," right? Just like that. Only when you communicate, you will be able to get it. So for a person, in order to have a better EQ, you need to have a good communication skills. You need to know how to appropriately convey your emotions and convey your thoughts, feelings in the most assertive way. Maybe I can put it as assertive way, right? Instead of hurting others' feelings and not hurting your feelings, you need to know how to convey. You need to know how to when to say no. All these art of being more assertive and conveying things without any inhibition and hesitation. So all these things, we will not get EQ when we, which has to be developed during or over a period of time. Okay, so there's nothing wrong if you feel that you're not good communicator, if you don't have a good social skills. It's nothing wrong. You can still develop it, right? You can still focus on it and see. So life is all about learning. Still, we are alive in this world. We're going to learn every single day, right? So please start focusing on you. Yes, next slide, please. Next is stress management. Yes, most important topic, right? All of us are going through a lot, either COVID or the cyclone or our life circumstances, maybe so many things are there. Okay, I'm just giving few basic examples. All of us are going through stress, and most of us are able to confront the stress and we're able to overcome it. But the remaining half, we are struggling. It's more like a deep ocean where it's almost like we're drowning inside the ocean. அப்படியே முழுகி கீழே போற மாதிரியான ஒரு feel, right? When we are encountered with a lot of negative things that is happening around our life. So first and foremost thing is to be more mindful. What is mindful? You are present. You are living in the present. You don't focus on your past. You don't focus on your future, but rather you focus on the present and you stay connected with your environment, or you're consciously aware of your own environment. So you be more mindful, right? So now I'm going to list out few things that will actually help you to stabilize your emotions. Okay, so one of the important thing is, of course, by today's webinar, I tried art, right? Art is again one of the important way where you can vent out your emotions and just, express whatever that is disturbing you within yourself. Dance is again one of the most, I have personally tried it, guys. So I for a fact, I know that how it actually makes me so happy. See, you don't have to be a good dancer. You don't have to be, you don't have to be Prabhudeva, you don't have to be anyone, you don't have to be anyone, you just have to be yourself. If you ever, maybe next time you guys can try this. If you feel very, how to say, choked up, and if you're not happy with your life, or maybe something's disturbing you, just go inside a room, have a earphone, put them in your ears, put your favorite song and start dancing. Just even if it's going to be jumping like a small kid, it's completely fine. Start dancing and just live your life. Just enjoy yourself, because music and dance, all these art forms have a lot of benefits in order to maintain a positive or well-being of every individual, right? So keep trying that. Next strategy, according to me personally, that I've done is decluttering. Decluttering is nothing but when you feel stressed out, when you feel that you have to make a decision, or when you feel that there is something wrong with your life. First and foremost thing is to get into your house, clean your house. If you see some waste things here and there, just clean, just declutter them. Just your environment matters a lot. If your environment is so clumsy and with a lot of things here and there, eventually your mind will be like that. See, your mind, your room, your mind, all these two things are interconnected. They reflect us, right? So please make sure to declutter. Just try this, because I have tried. I have personally experienced. I have personally had a good experience from it, which is why I'm trying to convey this. So declutter your room, and so that when you have a positive, very clean, when you cleanse your environment, you'll feel more calm and composed, and that's when you'll be able to channelize your emotions. See, all these things are not just fancy things that I'm trying to say here. Come on, dance, come on, do artwork and do decluttering. No, I'm not trying to just put in some fancy things. I have personally benefited from all these things, and which is why I'm trying to share my views about all these things, right? Last thing is, of course, breathing practices. Of course, everyone would have been knowing and exhaling, and also, I think I'll also like to add one more thing. I don't know how many of you love to watch sunrise and sunset. So if you have a terrace, or if you have a balcony, or if you can actually view the sky, please go and visit, see the sunrise and the sunset, because it is so therapeutic, because it calms down your mind and it stabilizes your emotions. So please do try, because I have been trying this, and I have, again, like I said, I have benefited from all these four things that I've mentioned now. So try them, right? So
I'm doing it daily, ma'am.
very good, sir.
I'm doing it daily since so many years.
Wow, that's nice. I'm very young. I have just started it, so trust me, it's very therapeutic, and I'm really glad that you're able to practicing it for a very longer period of time. Very good. Okay, next slide, please. I think I am. No, there's one more thing. Yeah, empathy as a daily habit. So with this, I'm done. So empathy, like I've already mentioned earlier in this slide, being more empathetic is one of the key factor to improvise your EQ. So once you start maintaining or understanding a person's behavior, their feelings, or why a person is behaving in a particular way, you'll be, relating yourself with the other person. So you'll have a positive relationship with them. So always be kind with one another. Don't judge people. Just because someone is dressing in one particular way, don't judge them. Just because someone is not talking to you, stop judging them. When someone is not okay physically, don't judge them. Just be kind with everyone and understand. See, when someone is behaving in a particular way, when someone likes to, how to say, maybe when someone likes to spend more time with the nature, understand them. Maybe they like it. When someone likes to spend time with animals, maybe you might not like to spend time with animals. Just because you don't like doesn't mean that, they also should stop spending time with animals, right? It's not that way, right? So be more empathetic. See, in order to have a very healthy relationship, please be kind and be more empathetic. And all these 5 things that I have told will definitely improvise your EQ state. So yes, I think I'm done. So next slide. I have one more slide, I guess. Yeah, that is the book I was talking about by Daniel Goleman. You can just note it down. It's very effective. So you all can try reading this book. So it's very cheap. It's very affordable. I think you can find this in Amazon, I guess. So emotional intelligence, why it can matter more than IQ. It's a very interesting one. Please make a note of it, because I don't want to just go away ending up this webinar. I want to give something more productive. So I think you all can buy this book. It's very effective. Fine. So maybe I can also show. I also have this book within in my house. So it's a very nice book. You all must try it. Okay. So yes, next, I think I'm done. So you can change the slide. I have one quote there. Okay, so I'm done with today's webinar, and these are my references. And thank you so much, everyone. So I'm officially done. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you all understood. And I hope I made justice to this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very nice, wonderful session we had. Lot of inputs we got it today, and the two words, emotional intelligence, but we got lot of explanation. You too, you explained 1 hour very well in different dimensions, different aspects actually. So we got a very knowledge transfer session today. So this question answer session, participant, you can kindly unmute yourself and you can ask the question to today's discussion. Please.
Shoot. Whatever questions you
Hello,
have.
madam.
Yes.
Madam, just now you talked about one therapy which is about sun rising, madam. Can you repeat
Yes.
that, madam?
Yeah. See, it's very simple. I think I started this practice during this COVID time. I used to go to my terrace. I used to sit there. I used to watch the sunrise and I used to watch the sunset. Because I personally feel, and I've also read in many articles that it is being more therapeutic because it actually calms down your mind. And of course, the sun's, those radiations, it tends to give positive benefits to our mental and our physical health. So you can try them. I will not say they are, come under stress management technique. I'm not sure about it, but then personally, I have benefited from that. So I think definitely, you can, because every single day, the clouds, the skies, it's super different. Like when you go and sit and watch, it's very therapeutic. So I think you must try it, and then only you can understand the real essence of sunrise, especially sunset. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for answering, ma'am. Participant, any questions, please? You can unmute or you can put in the chat box.
Yeah, you can also share your feedback. I hope
Hi,
I made
Kavya.
justice. Yes.
Yeah, hi, Kavya. The topic was really good, and I think everybody would have benefited. And yes, it's called sun gazing.
Yes.
The technical term is sun gazing and star gazing and moon gazing. You can tell it anyway, and it's very good and very effective for your physical and mental health. So I think you can use that. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Kavya, and
Akka.
thank you. Yeah,
Thank you
take
so
care.
much.
Yeah, I would like to show my face.
Yes,
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 hi.
she's my
Yes,
sister. Yeah.
hi.
Hi,
Yeah,
hi.
I'm good. Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, Akka, thank you.
Thank you, Preeti, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Participant, any questions? You can ask directly. I think there are a lot of positive feedbacks from we got in the chat box. So
Yeah.
a lot of is today's and participant eagerly for the evaluation to do the activity
I'm Satya
evaluation.
here.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you just repeat the two practices to overcome stress other than dance and sun grazing?
Yeah. Decluttering. One is decluttering where you declutter your house or maybe especially your room. Because I think having a positive environment is more important because in order to have a good psychological well-being, right? So whenever you find your house messy or especially your room,
Okay.
just kindly declutter them, and breathing practice is one of the again important stress management.
Yeah, that I've understood, but I just was not remembering the word.
Okay. No problem, ma'am.
Fourth point.
Decluttering, art, breathing practices, and those sun gazing and stargazing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
How to stay positive in a negative environment? Rude people are not so friendly workplace.
Okay. Right. So, of course, I think most of us, we all, in one way or the other, we tend to face this situation because, see, first and foremost thing is to understand why that person is being rude, right? Maybe are they being right from day one, or are they being rude because they are having a bad day? So first and foremost thing is to identify why a person is being rude, and second thing is to please don't relate that within yourself, right? So like when someone is kind of let's say your boss, or maybe any your colleague, not being so kind to you, it's completely fine. Just understand them and just don't, for a maybe or for a brief period of time, just don't bother them. Just stay away from them. Maybe when they calm down, no one will be being in a negative, period of time, because emotions are nothing but a state, right? So it will not stay for a longer time. So just give them space, have a breathing space, and when they calm down, you can see them from their body language or from the way they are expressing it. After a point of time, then you can go and confront them. You can actually go and when there's no one beside you guys, just go and talk to them and try to resolve it instead of trying to have a negative vibe in the office environment.
Ma'am, especially in work-related environment where you need to communicate with them, who is habitually he is like always rude to everyone, not only to you but with everyone.
Okay, maybe that will be the way how he usually behaves, and I think he needs to work on it. But your part will be, to be more assertive when you are talking to him, when you're going near him, because you have identified that he's being rude for a longer period of time. So which means that can be his temperament, or that can be his way he usually behaves to people. Or maybe he's having a bad day, or maybe he's having some issues going on. So I would suggest you to have a healthy, you might not expect people, everyone to behave the way or change the way you want them to be, but maybe we can change the way how we respond to it or how we react to it, right? Because control lies within ourselves, right? So maybe, you can be more assertive and not indulge in that negative vibration, because that's not good for our health. I mean, our mental health and our physical health. I hope.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants. Further question, you can send email to mywebinarfeedback@gmail.com. So thank you, Kavya ma'am. Today we had a wonderful session. Actually, you explained
very happy
about emotions, positive emotion, negative emotion, and category you very well explained actually. So it was a very good point we noted actually. So like 4 stages, 5 ways of development emotional intelligence, and you explained and component of emotions, and he explained clearly like subjective, cognitive, expressive, psychophysiological, and instrumental behavior. So we learned lots of emotional intelligence in different 360 degree actually. We learned lot. So thank you very much for the detailed session of emotional intelligence. So kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai and MS Chellamarthi Institute Madurai and Madras School of Social Work and International Center for Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy Germany and the Psycho-Oncological Association Turkey and Red Pond Educational Institute Madurai. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you all the participants. So we will have yet another wonderful session tomorrow. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.